remain the world's biggest threat to democracy, despite being touted as its hopes and beacon. A poll conducted by the Alliance of Democracies Foundation placed it above China and Russia. The organisation was founded by Anders Fogh Rasmussen, the former NATO Secretary General. More than 50,000 people from 53 countries took part in the survey, 44% of whom agreed Washington's influence was a threat. China came second and Russia was third on the list. All the same, though, the US Secretary of State, along with his British counterpart on Monday, singled out Beijing and Moscow as malign influences.
We're responding to a situation where our values are being challenged. The international architecture is, at least in some respects, being weakened. Together, our two countries recently took measures to prevent British and American businesses from inadvertently supporting forced labor in Xinjiang and elsewhere in China. We'll continue our robust cooperation to address the atrocities in Xinjiang, a crackdown on pro-democracy activists and politicians in Hong Kong, which breaches China's international commitments, and the repression of media freedom across China and in other parts of the world. I also want to thank the United Kingdom for joining us in holding Russia to account for its reckless and aggressive actions.
Historian and author Gerald Horne says, though, that public support for Washington's power plays is on the wane, including in Europe.
People across the globe are not naive, and they come to the simple conclusion that the United States is the bully on the block. Obviously, they're seeking to launch a new Cold War, not only against China, but against China and Russia combined. It's part of the psychological makeup of those who rule the United States to be the leading country on planet Earth, and they see that now eluding their grasp, and so they want to take down China by any means necessary. And there's also opposition to Russia because Russia will not go along with this new Cold War against China. I think that poll results suggest that it will be difficult to launch that new Cold War because international public opinion is not only hostile to the idea, but I think in Europe in particular, there is a gnawing and growing realization that the United States would like to fight China and Russia to the last European. And I don't think the Europeans are sufficiently naive to go for that bad bargain.
Shalom, double honest unto the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect who's pushing this word in all sincerity and all truth throughout the four corners of the earth. And this is just a little bit of news and prophecy. And you see the tension is constantly building up between Russia, China, and the United States. And as you can see, the U.S. is clearly labeled as a bully. And we see throughout history, with them constantly starting wars and constantly spreading themselves all over the earth. Nations are getting tired of it, man. And they all vying for that number one spot, and that's what this is coming down to. And these nations have gotten stronger, and America has gotten weaker. And it doesn't help that the history on this place gives it a great stain as well. But even more so in this time, because the Lord prophesied about these things, and it's being filtered down through the prophets who are out there on the highways and byways, that the world is catching up to the atrocities that this country has done from the beginning. And to be honest with you, this place was founded and built off of blood, the blood of Israelites. This is Nahum chapter 3 and verse 1. Woe to the bloody city, it is full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. The noise of a whip and the noise of the rattling of the wheels and of the prancing horses and of the jumping chariots. The horseman lifteth up both the bright sword and the glittering spear. And there is a multitude of slain and a great number of carcasses. And there is no end of their corpses. They stumble upon their corpses because they've gotten everything through war. They've broken down a lot of these countries through war and their philosophies, the democratic philosophies. A lot of these nations are not even they're not even informed themselves. You know, a lot of they pretty much Americanize even certain parts of the world. You know, this verse 4. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft that selleth nations to her whoredoms, and families to her witchcrafts, and that the nations, the nations mainly is the Israelites, who were taken and gathered through the transatlantic slave trade, according to Deuteronomy 28. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts. I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and kingdoms thy shame. And yeah, a lot of things is coming out about this United States. You know, the prophets are in every country, and it's being well known, the truth. You know, especially when in the day of this internet. You know, we have so much technology with knowledge. They say knowledge will increase in the latter days. Okay, this is Psalms 58:3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. And like I said, this place was founded off of blood and wickedness. And it's going to end that same way. You know, it's going to end that same way. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. Get a couple more scriptures, then I'm going to close this out. I didn't want to make this long. I just wanted to bring out some news that I picked up on. This is Malachi 4:1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall leave them neither root nor branch. And all this is leading up to World War III. You know, like I said, they're vying for who's going to be the next number one, but that none of that isn't going to happen. The next kingdom to come is it'll be of the Israelites. Okay. Let's go. Let me see something. I'm gonna go with this. Job chapter 18:11. Terror shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. And this is a problem. You know, they're trying to institute and get this new world order going. And but like I said, it's who's going to lead this new world order going forth. That's what the problem is. The Lord is stirring up these nations. Number one, to fight against each other. Then they're going to try to when he returns, they're going to try to fight against him. This is Isaiah chapter 14, and I'm gonna start at verse 4. Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, How hath the golden oppressor ceased? How hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, and he that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. And he ruled these nations in anger. You know, if they didn't apply to what he did, or to this particular nation, they put sanctions and different kind of just pass different kind of laws where they can hurt these countries, and they didn't have to. A lot of times they didn't have to fight wars through missiles. A lot of wars were fought quietly through the pen. And as you can hear in the video, this place is labeled as a bully, but like I said, it's leading up to the prophecies are speaking in these last days, and I look at it like it's great news. All this will come to an end, and we'll be liberated. We'll be free going into our kingdom. So I pray that you've been edified through this lesson. And with that, I'd like to say shalom.